Oh my god, this is so like weird doing this again. Okay. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I've been gone for a while. What happened to me? I got a boyfriend. Well, two actually. Not at the same time. One after the other. So I've been spending all my free time like hanging out and having a lot of fun. But the novelty of having a boyfriend is kind of worn off on me. Like, I still do love my boyfriend, but having a boyfriend is no longer like this super like new thing that I need to do all the time. So I'm kind of back to doing what I used to do before, which is make videos and sew a lot. I have pretty much done no sewing projects, or at least I haven't really recorded them if I have. So I'm back on YouTube making YouTube videos. And I also celebrated my 18th birthday recently. Well, not really recently. It's like 2 weeks ago recently. I celebrated my 18th birthday on September 18th, 2022, so I am now 18, and that is cool. My first comeback costume is a Tinkerbell costume. I've been watching all my favorite old Disney movies, all my favorite Disney content, and oh my gosh, the nostalgia I felt when I watched Alice in Wonderland again, like the opening title. But there was one particular OG Disney film that I hadn't seen yet, and that was Peter Pan. Well, the reason is kind of embarrassing. I had a massive crush on Peter Pan when I was little. I was jealous of him and Wendy's relationship. Bless my 10-year-old heart, honestly. Honestly though, when I was little, I thought I was too ugly to get into a relationship. I was always jealous of other people in relationships. But now that I have a boyfriend, well, I've had two, I now know that relationships are completely attainable. So I decided to watch the movie. And I love it. The characters, the fashion era, oh my god, like late Victorian era fashion. And my favorite character was definitely Tinkerbell. I had only known her from like the Tinkerbell movies. I much prefer her personality in Peter Pan. She's so sassy and funny and downright crazy. I became like obsessed with Tinkerbell and fairies. I had actually bought this green fabric near Halloween like last year. I made wings as well. But if you're making fairy wings, just I have a meeting right now. Okay, I'm gonna be back. I'll be back. I'm back. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the wings. So I actually had a really bad realization, like after I made the wings. The wing making process itself took like 6 hours, 3 hours per wing. And it was kind of a nightmare because the cellophane wasn't sticking to the wire, even though I used like Gorilla Glue adhesive. Even though I put like 2 really heavy boxes on the cellophane and the wire so the pressure adhesive could stick better, it didn't work, and still some of the pieces were like hanging up. So after like 5 hours of the glue setting, I could still peel the cellophane off, so I had to try again, and on the 3rd time I finally got the cellophane to stick to the wire. But my troubles weren't over because I made the frame out of copper wire. And if you know anything about like wire and gauges, the gauge is like the thickness of the wire, and then the metals is like what it's made of, obviously. If you know anything about copper, you'll know it's really soft, and it was not a good thing to make the wings out of. Yes, it was super convenient so that I could bend it and mold it better, because my grandpa gave me like a lot of different gauges of wire and a lot of different materials. So I chose the copper wire because that was the easiest to bend. Because I made the frame of the wings out of copper, the frame kept bending downwards with gravity. So that's why you'll see in a lot of pictures like the wings are bent downward, because where the wings attached, it just bends, it doesn't stay upright. So what I should have done, and if you're gonna make wings, what I think you should do, make the structure part of the wings where they come together out of a metal that doesn't bend, and then make the details out of a more bendable wire. I felt like 2 layers of the iridescent fabric was too shiny, and then just the clear cellophane was not dramatic enough, so I did a mix of the 2, and I think that's all I'm going to do from now on because it looks so pretty on camera. I mentioned my boyfriend at the beginning of the video. I came up with a date idea during this project, and it was to make cakes that represented each other, or decorate cakes rather. for mine, he tried so hard. He put so much time and effort into every aspect of it. Kimmy the genius. You should see how you look on camera right now. You look so focused. What's your plan? Your game plan, Kimmy?
To make a cake.
Wow, this looks so good. Looks amazing, Kimmy. Look at that. And he did it all by himself. Because you're a genius.
That is some bullshit and you know it.
Don't look in the spatula. I swear to God. No look in the spatula. Regarding the dress, a whole lot of things went wrong. This was actually my second Tinkerbell dress, because the first one, my fabric choice was a blessing and a curse, because even though it looked like streaky, like a leaf, and it looked kind of naturey, the fabric was not strong enough to support a corset top. It frayed a bunch, and if any seam had a lot of pressure on it, the fabric would just rip. It was really not good quality fabric. And what I mean by that is, try to imagine a corset made out of tulle. It would just tear, right? Which is exactly what happened. Particularly at the waist, like seams that had a lot of strain on them. I actually got 3 pieces of the same pattern. In some clips, I think you can see this blue fabric that I put in for structure because I was actually worried about this fabric for a while. I thought that it might tear, so I put an under fabric to hopefully help with structure so it wouldn't put too much strain on the green fabric, but it didn't work. The green fabric still tore. I also made the waist too small, so it didn't even go all the way around my waist. I should have measured my pieces before I cut them out, but I was just like, you know what? I did it on the dress form, it'll probably be fine. But when I measured the waist, it was 45 centimeters. After a string of successful outfits, I kind of knew this would happen, like the Roaring 20s and then the Great Depression. I had already had like puffballs for clothing, which Chip actually found, and he ate one, by the way. Okay, no, he didn't eat it, but he chewed on it and it was covered with slobber. But I didn't use those because to me they just weren't big enough. I tried and I tested them on the shoes and they were just too tiny. The pom-poms on her shoes are iconic. I'm not gonna settle for some dinky little cotton balls. So to make the pom-poms, I glued cotton balls on a center of aluminum foil. And they look nice, but to be honest, this method is not the best. Cotton balls fall apart. The fibers would just kind of come apart from the glue. Every time I would walk, the cotton ball would slowly come apart. I wouldn't recommend doing this, but I liked the end result and it looked nice in photos. One thing I also forgot to mention is I made a waist corset. The end result was just not exactly what I wanted. I spent a lot of time being like really precise and intricate because with a lot of my projects I really rush through and I don't pay attention to little details. But for this waist corset, I really wanted to use it over and over again, so I tried my best to go like really small stitch lengths, really quality sewing, really straight seams, really good fabric choice. I really tried to channel my inner Bernadette Banner. Bernadette Banner is right there, and she's watching you sew. And she says, use stitch length number 1. But I still failed. While the design of the corset is beautiful, I didn't use good quality boning. I used zip ties. Now this is a good substitute for boning in some projects. When I first started to use the corset, the issues with the zip ties weren't immediately apparent. But as I continued to wear it and move in it, the zip ties started to bend, and they stayed like that. And they bent into my stomach. It was so incredibly painful. Like, I remember being on the bus going to visit my boyfriend for his lunch, and I like hunched forward a little bit, and they dug into my stomach, and I was like, ah, but I was on the bus, so I couldn't really say anything. I was trying to make a waist cincher corset, and I thought it would be fine because I have worn corsets before, but this is by far the most waist reduction I've ever tried. So first of all, I tightened it too much on my first try. I didn't tighten it properly, and it didn't use good quality boning. So that's why it was a complete disaster. So it's not the corset's fault, it's just my fault for not being responsible about how I make it. I also put on some flowers onto this dress. As I said earlier, the fabric choice was not the best. There was some holes in the dress. Not holes where you could see through all the way to my skin, but the first layer of green tore. The first layer of green fabric tore, and you could see like the inner lining of fabric, but that was blue. So it definitely didn't go with the color scheme. So I decided to decorate it with flowers. I had actually got this idea from seeing, oh, what's her name? I think it's Alexandra Louise. I think that's what her name is. I will put her channel right here. I hope I pronounced it right. But she made a Tinkerbell costume and she put flowers on it, and I was like, oh my god, that's so pretty, I want to do that. And the flower color scheme, I think it just added so much to the dress. Okay, so now is like the more exciting part, like the decoration part. I have a couple flowers. I have a whole bouquet of flowers. I actually got this from Value Village for like $7, which is a pretty good deal because there's a lot of flowers on here. It was supposed to be for another project, but I didn't finish that project, so they're gonna be used for this one. I really love the colors. Like, I'll take you to see here. I took a few off already just to test them, just to see how they look, and the colors look so pretty. And also, here's a little Easter egg for one of my future projects. Let's see if you know where this is from. What if we have a family somewhere beyond the sea? Could there be someone there missing me? If you know, you know. So anyways, that is it for the making process. And here is the final product. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Somebody texted me. I definitely had a lot of problems with this project, but I think as I keep making more stuff, I will get better at it. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I will see you in the next video.